What's up, YouTube? We got a yo-yo review to do today. This is the One Drop Yoyos Halifax. So I suck at Instagram, and you may have seen me drop a picture of this when I got it. And I've been playing it a ton on Instagram, and I've just been playing it. It's good. They actually didn't send me this. I did buy this because I don't always buy. Everybody doesn't send me every yo-yo. Sometimes I have to buy a yo-yo. Not have to, but sometimes I want to buy a yo-yo, and I wanted to buy this. Let's get into the specs. The weight is 62.8 grams. The width is 39.9 millimeters, and it has a 52.1 millimeter diameter. It has flow groove, response pads, 4.72 millimeter gap width, and it's got the flat 10 ball one drop ball bearing. 6061 aluminum with tapped axle that kind of looks like a tiny Dietz side effect. And that was done on purpose. So the story of the Halifax is this was designed, you'll notice it kind of looks a lot like the Dietz. This was designed back when Dan Dietz was on the team, and he was the team tester at the time. So they sent him what was the older version of the Halifax initially, and he loved it. He thought it was his signature, and it became his signature. And so that was the Dietz. Well, over time, One Drop has gotten better at designing yo-yos. They've made a bazillion of them at this point. And they've done like one a month this year. So shout out to One Drop for really like keeping 2020 good for yo-yo stuff, because at least there's a yo-yo to look forward to, or new yo-yos to look forward to. Whereas where everything else has been terrible in 2020, new yo-yos. Gotta love new yo-yos, right? That brings me joy still. So this yo-yo, it sparks joy. Really fun. Actually, a very small yo-yo. It's kind of a very much throwback yo-yo. Like I said, this was designed several years ago, and here, so it's full size for the time, but not so much full size now. Here it is next to the 2.6 Seraph, which I would say is a current generation of yo-yos full size. As you can see, diameter is a little bit smaller, but not much. But it's totally not as wide. As far as smaller yo-yos are concerned, this certainly plays more H-shaped. It feels dense in the rims, but it's not heavy. It doesn't play heavy. It's only 62.8 grams. Doesn't play heavy. Not a modern competition type yo-yo. Modern competition yo-yos are a little wider, so it's easier to hit the tricks. But as far as size is concerned, I'm always a big fan of these like medium. I would call it these used to be full size, but this I would call a medium sized yo-yo nowadays. I'm always a fan of these because they just fit in your pocket so nice, and if you just want to grab it, and it doesn't take up a lot of space on your desk if you're just leaving it on your desk to like grab it, throw it, play with it, put it back down. So this size, really, I like it a lot. It's not something that I would say, oh man, I love this size and it's my favorite. But as far as a convenient size is concerned, the size convenience of these is always something that sparks joy. There we go. We're going to use that a lot today in me. And this yo-yo plays really, really fun. It also plays really, really different than everything else One Drop's already put out this year, which I like as well. Because you get about all the One Drops this year. The two of them you would have got that would have kind of the intro and the nitro are similar-ish in shape, but this one is just totally a big departure from what they've been doing otherwise this year, and I like that a lot as well. Kind of feels like a smaller version of like Elijah Tan's signature that One Drop did with Yo-Yo Community, the Tangent. So yeah, throwback. I know if anybody's like, oh yeah, the Tangent. I have one, but I know maybe everybody doesn't. But it kind of feels like a smaller version of that to me, as far as like the weight distribution and stuff works, and with the hub and everything. But it's smaller, lighter. That's the way it is. But let's go ahead and throw it around a little bit. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, and then we'll do pros and cons. Halifax. All right. First thing you're going to notice is kind of the density. It's not heavy, like I said, but you can feel the power because it's an H shape. And that's kind of neat, especially in a smaller yo-yo, to like have like not heavy power. Like it doesn't play like a rock, but it has some power and you can feel that. And I think that balance is really good. Really sticks to the plane really well. And is a pretty easy yo-yo to play despite it not really being huge. Despite it not being very wide. Pretty easy yo-yo to play. And it feels good too. Grind finish is just the Pure Matte finish, which I like a lot. Nice and smooth. Really good. Spins a pretty good long time too. It's not like a competition level like spinner type of yo-yo. Like it doesn't spin like a bimetal would, but it's got some pretty decent spin times. You're not really sacrificing much performance with the size. It really plays very modern, but is sort of retro is not the right word because it's really like less than 10 years ago that yo-yos looked like this. So I don't know that I'd call it retro, but sort of an older type of style. The size is good, for your chopsticks and things. And it really just, I like these sizes of yo-yos. It sort of keeps it challenging and kind of adds a level of fun. It's not like the Dark Souls of yo-yo or anything like that, but it's like, got a little bit of challenge. You got to kind of pay more attention. Maybe shut up a little bit. Right? Shut up, Thomas. Just play yo-yo. The bearing's great. I like one-drop bearings a lot. It's getting a little bit loud, but that's all right. Get loud. Thumb grinds. You could probably think I could get my thumb in there. Yeah. Diameter's a little small, and I have big, stupid sausage thumbs, but you can get your thumb in there. Finger spins. One drop doesn't really do finger spin yo-yos. I probably could do it on this. Let's try it. But a lot to get in your way in there, and it's not very big, so hold on. Let's see again. Actually, not bad. That went okay. One Drop's not a big finger spin yo-yo type of company, but this worked. Response is great. I love the One Drop Flow Groove response. It just works. It doesn't snag. It just makes the yo-yo come back to your hand. Good gap size, but gap size is a little bit extra big, so you can get a couple extra wraps in there. But the Flow Groove response is just so good. I really just like how One Drop designs stuff, and they've had so much experience doing it. Just like the gap size and the response is always just so nice, and the Halifax is no different. So I enjoy that very much as well. Let's go ahead and take it apart. We'll show you the inside. This thing's got a lot of cuts, and we'll do pros and cons. All right, let's take this apart. So I went with the purple. They did all those classic One Drop colors. I didn't have any purple. I almost got the green one because I like the green that One Drop uses, but I have like 5 or 6 yo-yos that are that color, so 5 or 6 One Drops that are that color. So without that. Came apart beautifully as expected. Nice long axle. This is kind of a meant to carry around type of yo-yo. The Pure Matte finish is extra durable, and this is an almost unbreakable titanium axle, and it's Flow Groove response pads last an eternity. I mean, this is a yo-yo you could just take with you and, keep beating on it, and it'll just keep being good. Dead smooth too. There's the One Drop bearing. I did nothing to this. Silent, smooth, still spinning. It hauls. Let's look at the cuts here, because this is what I was very impressed with how many cuts there are in this yo-yo. So, big step here, rounds over before the response pad. It rounds over beautifully. This comes off the string just beautifully. It feels so, so nice. Extra aesthetic cut right there. That looks great. Flattens out right there. And then another cut there, another cut there, another cut there. And then it cuts into, there's a cut here into the cup. And then you get a little lip for your thumb grinds. And then another cut here. And then the hub cut is cool too, because it's like straight up, cut, flat. It's just cuts and cuts and cuts, and look how the light hits it. It's really cool. There's a lot of cuts, and it looks really good. I like all of this. Like, look at all of these. It's just great. It's so good. Sean is so good. They're so good at One Drop at all this stuff, and it's flawless too. I mean, this looks beautiful. Came apart beautifully. The flow groove response pads fit like it was made for them, because it was. Surprise. Anyway, yeah, good stuff. So let's do pros and cons. Pros, new One Drops, love it. I like all the cuts. 6061 aluminum's nice. It's a good size. It doesn't, despite it being smaller, it doesn't feel like it inhibits tricks at all. Like it can still handle everything your more regular sized, full sized Yoyos can handle, but just in a more pocket friendly package, a more old school package, if you will. Really, I mean, it handled my finger spins. It handled my thumb grind. It's grindy. The pure matte finish is not. I like the pure matte finish. It feels really good. Your mileage may vary, but I also think it makes everything look good too. It's just a little bit matted, like good for the grinds, but it really makes colors pop and splashes and everything. And this actually really came in some nice splashes as well. So let's talk cons though. It's not a full-on competition type yo-yo, despite the shape. I would kind of like to see this in a full size, honestly. In like a full, beefed out size, maybe, closer to 64, 65 grams, a little bigger. But for what it is, I like it. For what it is, but it's not like full-on competition, and it is a little tougher to play smaller yo-yos than it would be something like, say, this. It's par for the course, obviously. Less room to hit the trick. But that being said, this does play beautifully, and it's dead smooth. The price, these are a little expensive. Maybe not like, per old school standards, and with all the cuts, I understand why they're expensive. The splashes are $80, and the just straight colors are $59. It's not terrible. I mean, $59 is pretty good, honestly, for the color, for like the flat colors. There's still some purples left on the One Drop site. So they actually said 2010 was the initial design of this, and then it's been refined for a 2020 release. So it's been about a decade, almost. And they still have. I almost went with the Pollock color, the blue with but I have those colors. I didn't have any One Drops in this purple, so I went with that. But I mean, it's got some good colors too. Pollock is good. Purple is still there. They've still got Melting Glacier, which is cool. I'm sure they'll do more once they come out, but there's still some on the One Drop site. Check the links in the description. Like I said, the splash is for $80 for a splash. A little expensive, but you know what? They're not trying to rob you over at One Drop. I get that. And I think the cuts totally warrant it, but I think this purple just looks amazing. And for $59, that's actually a pro, because that's a good price. One Drop Halifax. This is, I believe, the 8th yo-yo to drop this year from One Drop, if I'm not mistaken. June, July, May, April, March. Okay, January. No, it's not. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th yo-yo to drop from One Drop this year. However, they did do both November and December drops. So since November, 8th yo-yo. Although they did one in October too. So since October of last year, this is the 9th yo-yo. And it's wonderful. It's been out for a little while. Some of the colors are sold out. I just got mine not too long ago, and I'm just getting around to make the video, but I like it a lot. Halifax is good. If you're looking for sort of an undersized yo-yo, something a little different compared to what you've been throwing this year and what's been coming out, I think this is the way to go. I love it. It looks good. It plays good. I'm going to go back to playing my yo-yo, though. Thanks for watching, guys. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Check the links in the description. I'll see you next time.